right, now it is time to fasten your seatbelts and start your engines as we head out to Lyon, France to visit our team at Ubisoft Ivory Tower to get an update on The Crew 2.
Hi everyone, and welcome to The Crew 2 at Ubisoft Forward. My name's James Reese, I'm a community developer here at Ivory Tower, and I'll be your host for this quick glimpse into all the exciting things we have going on over the next few weeks. It's been 2 years already since launch, with 6 major updates and hundreds of vehicles under our belt. And our latest update, Summer in Hollywood, only went live a few days ago. Let's have a look.
Okay, this is Tim. So I don't have my um, regular introduction, so this is Tim Stubbuffin. Um, that little short video was the opening to Ubisoft Forward. They did a like a intro to their upcoming games, and that was a clip from, I think it's called The Crew 2. First time I heard about it, but it's a racing game, and it was kind of exciting, so I decided I would just add it to this video as a kind of intro. So I hope you guys don't mind that. But this is like I said, this is Ubisoft. This is Ubisoft Word. This is mostly their content, so it's not my content; it's their content. I'm just borrowing it for a few, for kind of an intro to their software, because I'm a Ubisoft fan. I play a number of their games. Right now you see Far Cry, New Dawn, and which I enjoyed. To be honest, this I started Far Cry just recently. This game and the previous game, and those are the only two games that I've played so far. But I started. I really enjoy at least these last two. Like I said, I didn't try the other two, but these are, I thought, were pretty good. So, and also what you'll see later, Ghost Recon. I started Ghost Recon ever since uh, Xbox started, with the first Xbox, with the first Ghost Recon, and I've been playing Ghost Recon since. So I really didn't know about this Ubisoft Forward. I just looking at, they came out with the Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla trailer, and also they had the Far Cry 6 trailer. And then I started, looking around, and then they said, "Oh, Ubisoft had a Ubisoft Forward, kind of an intro thing." And so some of the things they've already presented, like especially with Ghost Recon and the AI squad mates. But as far as a review of everything and to let everybody know what's going on, you can also take a look at the Ubisoft Forward on YouTube. I'm sure it's available, so you can search it and find it. You can look at the whole presentation, because I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to show all and talk about all of the games coming out, but if you go ahead and look at the full video, you'll see a number of other games, indie games, other games that you might be interested in. So this one is a little short, kind of short intro. We're gonna cover Ghost Recon Breakpoint for a little bit, and like I said, the AI squad mates, a little bit of Watchdog Legion. Legion. I think that's a pretty um, well-known and popular game. Also, as everyone knows, and everybody, I guess, is anticipating the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I am. Yeah, definitely. I showed their trailer on my channel, and of course, this Ubisoft Forward, they're going to go into it a little bit more in depth. So hopefully, you'll enjoy that. And then at the end, they had a pre pre show and a follow up show. So in the follow up show, they go into more detail about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and they show a little bit of gameplay. So you'll see some of that. Um, so it'll be shorter version of the presentation that they show. Like I said, you can look at the full presentation, but this is just kind of the highlights and the games that Ubisoft will be coming out and over the holiday. And I think Far Cry 6 is going to come out at the beginning of next year, beginning of 2021. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little clip, and I enjoy putting it all together, and I'm looking forward to some of these games too. So let's continue on with the Ubisoft Forward.
Now for our last game update, the Ghost Recon Breakpoint team is ready to share some details on their upcoming updates. AI teammates are coming to the game. Let's have a look at the trailer.
The time has come. AI teammates are back in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And for all solo players, they're gonna be a game changer. Available at any point after you have reached Erewhon for the first time, Fury, Fixit, and Vasily can be activated or dismissed at will. And from the beginning, you will be able to fully customize them. This customization includes all of the physical attributes, as well as gear, equipment, or even full costumes. Your teammates can be tweaked just as much as your main character. Just like Nomad, your teammates will adapt and react to the world of Aroa and its environments, and they will always follow your own behavior. If you decide to go stealth, they will equip silencers and crouch, or go prone when possible. But if you decide to go loud and open fire, they will stick by your side. When deployed, you can issue different orders to your teammates through the order wheel. There are 4 different orders you can give to your teammates. You can tell them to regroup on your location, to hold their current position, to go to a specific location, and to open fire on nearby enemies. These orders can be given at any time, even through your binoculars and drone. Once they approach potential threats, the teammates will notify you and mark them automatically.
Got a hostile.
With a good look at your enemies, you will be able to set up a sync shot where each of your teammates picks a target. You can even link it to your 3 sync shot drones for a simultaneous 7-target takedown. The teammates have weapons equipped at all times, a versatile assault rifle to accommodate all situations, and a primary weapon that you will be able to fine-tune. Indeed, apart from mark upgrades and passive bonuses, the full gunsmith is accessible to your teammates, and their weapon of choice will have a direct effect on the battleground. Depending on the type of weapon they have equipped, the teammates will adapt their engagement distance and rate of fire, from close-distance shotgun wielding all the way to long-distance sniper shots. Of course, if you get taken down, your teammates' priority will be to try and rescue you. To achieve that, they will first focus their fire on the surrounding enemies before getting to you. And they will expect the same from you, especially as you will be able to carry them to safety.
Hope you don't
if the
die yet.
situation requires it. Finally, the teammates will also be your best allies in any vehicle, especially on the road and during high-stake pursuits. The teammates will be available for all solo Ghost Recon Breakpoint players on July 15th, and we cannot wait to see your reactions.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the battlefield, Ghosts.
Thank God for AI teammates. Just wish they introduced it a little bit earlier in the game.
Hey, Ghosts. I'm Grace from the Ghost Recon team. As you've just seen, the AI teammates are finally landing in Ghost Recon Breakpoint with our next major update on July 15th. Alongside the AI teammates, this update comes with a ton of new content, including a gunsmith upgrade, new PvP content, quality of life updates, and more. You will be able to try it all during our next free weekend from July 16th to July 20th. But that's not all. We've got one last thing to show you. Enjoy, and we'll see you on Aroa, Ghosts.
To anyone listening, this is Haruhi Ito, speaking for the Outcasts. We stand against Sentinel's illegal occupation of Aroa. We call on all of Aroa to join us. Separated, Sentinel wins. But united, we cannot be defeated.
This is Ubisoft FORWARD. Explore our worlds.
Meet the devs. See the games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar and I'm very excited to be co-hosting the first Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team, and then they become the heroes of the game.
I like the graphics and the their outfits.
Unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're heroes that you've chosen and invested in.
That's in October.
All right, we know you've been waiting to hear more about this game since it was announced back in April. And now it's time for a deep dive into the world of Vikings.
My name is Julien Laferrière, and I'm the producer
of
Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we want players to experience in this game. It is a personal adventure, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available. Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper. Vikings were brutal warriors.
Shields!
And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat. Vikings were not only fighting face to face, they were masters of stealth and deception when needed. They used basically any sort of tactics they could use to win the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings. We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
In-game footage work in progress.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will relive the epic saga of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal, to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle. Your crew will assist you in all your raids, fighting enemies, battering down doors, and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms. Whatever riches and resources you pillage may be used to develop your settlement, giving you access to useful services, better tools, and new settlers. At the heart of your settlement is the Alliance map. It will serve as a record of the allies you have made, and a guide for future opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends.
The open world.
You will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game. Every archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks, while others will use nearby objects to their advantage, including the bodies of fallen warriors. To face these attacks, you must find and exploit your opponent's weaknesses to gain the upper hand. Take the fight to your foes with a host of brutal new combat abilities. Snare them with the Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes. Incapacitate them with the new stun system to keep them at a distance, or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks. Customize your fighting style as you see fit, and become a legendary Viking warrior. All combinations of weapons are available to dual wield, including two shields.
Yeah, two shields, yeah.
Not all situations call for violence. In this new land, a Viking must find a way to adapt. As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities. Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip past watchful eyes. an unseen hunter among the people. From capital cities and villages to the dense forests and rolling hills of England, exploration is vital to keeping yourself sharp. You must feed off the land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage to replenish your health and fortify your equipment.
That's a big wolf.
Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement. The more you explore, the more of England's secrets you will reveal.
Ravens, show no mercy!
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back. In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature massive assaults in which you will lead Eivor's army into battle against heavily guarded Saxon fortresses.
Today, we will reclaim her. Today, we fight for your land. And tomorrow, we rebuild.
For East Anglia.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will transport you to wondrous and haunted lands, inspired by Norse myths and England's pagan roots. It will challenge and surprise.
Thank you,
with unforgettable characters, thrilling triumphs, and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking saga.
Post show. November 17th.
9th century England is truly unlike anything the franchise has seen before. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday season on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, PS4, PC, and Stadia.
We're close to wrapping up today, but before we go, our CEO, Yves Guillemot, is here to share a few words.
I hope you will have enjoyed what you have seen today, and that you will love playing these games. I'm proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad, and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have another Ubisoft Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
Far Cry 6.
Fuerzas ultrapenetrantes, estamos cansados de los farsantes, de los...
I'm just a kid. Listen to my jams and play with my model.
But useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
But now Dad's gotten serious.
Papa.
Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom.
Welcome to the new world. Or welcome to the real world, I should say.
Now,
What an introduction.
I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves. They will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong.
No. Throw it on the building across the street.
They will answer you with screams. Call you evil. A monster. And give you this.
I guess that makes sense. The evil monster.
So you tell me, are you evil?
Are you a monster?
Are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has two basic parts. Our people. And you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go boom. You understand now? Prove it.
To 1821.
And with that, we're wrapping up our first Ubisoft Forward. Today, we've seen the next generation of Assassin's Creed, the birth of a resistance in Watch Dogs Legion, the cyber chaos of Hyperscape, and the epic reveal of Far Cry's newest installment, along with so much more.
Remember, we'll be back later this year with another Ubisoft Forward filled with tons of game news and updates.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Thank you. So a little bit of the after show.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ubisoft Forward post show. My name is Yusuf McGeed, and this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to take a deep dive into about 30 minutes of gameplay, and we're joined by a very special guest here.
Hey everyone, this is Philippe Bergeron, otherwise known as Fizz. I am the quest director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
So Fizz, we're setting up here for what looks like an epic encounter. Tell us exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, so here we're midway through the quest that we're showing for UB Forward. Here we're looking at the assault of Berg Castle. So these are big moments that usually sort of culminate at the end of the story. And so here Eivor, our Viking raider, is taking a group of raiders and Fyrds into Berg Castle to go and take down Rued and his clan.
So who exactly is Rued, and why does Eivor sort of want to pick a fight with him?
Basically, Rued comes into play about halfway through this story arc, where at the beginning of the arc, this is something that happens before, Rued basically caused a lot of turmoil within the territory, and Oswald, who's the sort of elderman to be to inherit this territory, needs your help to take him down. Oswald having just been defeated in a previous quest, and so here this is revenge, but also accomplishing your ultimate goal.
So Fizz, as you're talking, we're seeing some of the combat of Valhalla. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes to combat this time around?
We wanted to basically add a lot of new mechanics to it. So we added like some dual wielding for the player, like a stun system in there. And we really needed to do this to sort of portray that sort of the brutality that comes with being a Viking in this day and age. So it sort of fits into that the time and the
Yeah, some of it does look familiar, but they add their own touches.
Oswald, he lives. Oswald lives!
Eivor, is that you? Shut your ass, twig spine.
Here, Eivor has taken her entire army through the assault, and finally, it's revealed that our Ealdorman, our ally, Oswald, is still alive, and Rued has him captive.
So this is what it comes to, Wolfkist? 2 Danes fighting over a filthy Saxon whoreson? If this swine is your prize, come and get him!
So now that we've seen that Oswald is alive, we have Rued within our sights. What's the next step here?
So the next move for Eivor is to finally face off against Rued. She has her allies. They can take care of the rest of the army. Now it's time to go one-on-one against Rued in one of our boss battles, actually.
Your battle is not yet won, Oswald.
And it's worth pointing out, actually, that here what we're showing is the player going and facing off against Rued aggressively, but we tend to always have to support a 360-degree approach in these things. So the player could have approached this a little bit more stealthily and gotten at least like a good critical hit on either Rued or his wolf, and so you can play this a little bit more strategically if that's your playstyle.
So we're not only fighting Rued here, but also his pet wolf, right?
Here, one of my preferred strategies is to eliminate the wolf first, just focus fire on him. It takes at least one opponent out of the combat. Now, Rued will have extra abilities that come into play if you do eliminate his wolf, but I think having one opponent less in the battlefield makes for a good strategy in the whole.
Yeah, these wolves, dogs, whatever, they can be a pain in the butt. We've seen that in other games.
Only the cold dark of Niflheim awaits you.
Valhalla is my destiny. That fate will not be met today. Riders, they should be roomed, wolf-kissed. Made thralls, not treated as equals. We are better than this, than all of them.
Do not drag me down to the sewage you wallow in.
Does a Dane fight tooth and nail for a Saxon? You throw in with these wastrels? These arrogant swine?
Eivor, no! He should be tried before God, a lawful assembly.
Alright, so we've defeated Rued, we've freed Oswald. What comes next?
Oswald, in this case, prefers for Rued to be kept alive, and so you basically have to choose, are you going to go against his wishes or stay true to your nature?
So we have this choice to make, but before we get into that, I want to rewind a little bit because we just did this big, grand assault, but Eivor couldn't have done it alone. She clearly had to recruit some folks along the way, get some troops, get some allies. So let's actually rewind and see how we went about first gathering those troops.
Right, so when coming up to an assault, it's a game of numbers. Eivor can go into pretty much any location and be a stealthy Viking, eliminating some of the assets, which ultimately would be a strategy. You can do that, and you'll have some of the ingredients or of the assets there that will have been sabotaged, but you still need an army. So here what we're seeing is Eivor going around the countryside and raising what we call a fyrd, which is the men and the women of the territory who come up and fight in the name of a king. So here Eivor is going around and trying to convince people to fight in the name of Oswald to finally take down the oppressor that is Rued.
Defending East Anglia, defending you. Will you not do the same?
What? Die in defense of a lost cause?
Yeah, so she's really using like the image and like the leadership that Oswald had, what he meant to the people in his name. She's going to recruit these people.
Pretty words, Dane, but the men of FORWARD have their own battles to fight.
So we're told by this Reeve that there are troops, there are allies that he could add to our cause, but first we sort of need to do him a favor, is that right?
Yeah, so obviously these people have been run down by Rued and the impact he's had on the territory, so I think a lot of these people have sort of lost hope. And so you need to show them that there is hope. And so here Eivor is basically helping them take back one of their prized locations by taking a couple men and raiding a nearby township, basically taking it back for the people and showing that there's a reason to continue fighting and then get them on your side. when Eivor does this, obviously you have access to a full suite of abilities. So again, the improvements that we've done to the fight system. You have some brutal axe throwing in there. You have archery or like range combat abilities in there as well. So really, again, like depending on what your playstyle is, you can customize your loadout and go in there how you wish.
Yeah. Arrows blazing or stealthy? Or sword and axe blazing?
Giant pulse go out. What exactly was that?
So that is what we call the Odin sight. The Odin sight is basically our interpretation of the eagle vision from previous games, and we thought it was good to sort of bring that back. It's basically Eivor's intuition. It's how she perceives the world. When the player uses that, it'll highlight
Tomb Raider,
objects, like things that will bring her an advantage. So we'll have arrows, like health consumables that are in there. So it really is like a good way of sort of understanding the world and showing you like things that you can go and touch.
Yeah, both of these games remind me of Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of things we can touch, we just picked up this awesome new weapon.
It's something we wanted to play with on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we have fewer weapons in the game, but you can invest in them more, so they become your weapon. And so depending on what
you can
your
upgrade.
Preferred playstyle is or your preferred weapon type, then you can go and choose, I'm gonna fight with this weapon and invest heavily into that.
Not only are we looting weapons, but we see something here called the Book of Knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
They unlock skills for the players. So here you can see the Valkyrie dive that has just been unlocked. We have these spread out throughout the world. So again, to promote exploration and discovery. As you travel through the world and you explore locations, you can find these books that will add abilities that you can go and invest in, put into your loadout, then go into the different locations or the different quests in the game and use those depending on what your playstyle is.
Looter shooter.
Now we've recaptured this village, we've secured more troops for our assault. Let's jump back now and figure out what we want to do with Ruid.
Yeah, we won't say anything now.
The King of East Anglia has spared your life today, and so it will be.
Compassion is a virtue suited for anyone, Eivor, including you. Thank you.
Eivor decided to let him live. Ruid is really angry about that. Being a Norse Viking, being put to the death in battle is your road to Valhalla. So he was basically denied access to Valhalla in this situation. Obviously, all of these decisions come into play later on in the game, so we have very difficult decisions for the player to make. We didn't want to have easy decisions.
Yeah, you know, when I was playing, I decided to listen to Oswald and spare Ruid's life, but what exactly is the relationship like between Eivor and Oswald?
So the relationship between Eivor and Oswald is an alliance. It's basically Eivor is surrounded by territories that initially getting into England are hostile towards her, and obviously if you want to set up a new settlement, you want to make sure that your neighbor is friendly. So here in East Anglia, Oswald is the man for the job, where putting him into a position of power would help her sort of secure her territory. So earlier on to the territory, Eivor comes in here, meets Oswald. The problems he had with Ruid are sort of put to light, and going through the arc, you basically help him deal with Ruid and aligning basically Danes with Saxons in one territory.
So, Fizz, we've completed the assault. We've gotten our hands dirty with some combat, taken down Ruid. We have this big open region of East Anglia, so before we head off to Oswald's wedding, what do you say we head out, have some fun, and see what we can get into in the open world?
That sounds great.
So we see a cat here with a speech bubble above it, and you best believe if you let me talk to a cat, I'm gonna talk to a cat.
Yeah, these are some of our some of my favorite moments actually in the game, where we put out a whole bunch of events throughout the territory. And it sort of rewards, again, exploration, going around. It's a chance for us also to sort of showcase a different side of Eivor. A lot of the quests sort of deal more with like politics and warfare, and this shows a slightly more human nature to her. So it permits us to explore that character a little bit more.
Yeah, it makes the game a
So
lot longer.
Basically, like you're trying to help a kid with his cat, and ultimately get that cat to sort of join your crew as a cat raider.
You just said cat raider way too casually. You're telling me I could have a cat Viking raider on my longship?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. Perfect.
So yeah, as you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay.
At least
here.
you know
Can
you won't wander out that far.
about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark
Yeah, I'm liking the
Viking
graphics.
raiders, like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game where
And the
you
landscape.
could basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all its treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
So I know past Assassin's Creed games allowed for songs and things like that to be sung on ships. Will Valhalla have a similar version of that?
Yeah, so this is something we actually wanted the crew of your ship to become like your home away from home. So we added stories and songs into the ship. So basically, as the player is going around, you could decide to have your skald sort of sing a song for you as you row down the river. But you can also decide, depending on who the raiders are in your ship, to hear more about their life. So you can actually queue up stories, and they'll give you a little bit more background on who they are. So you get to know your sort of fighters as you're traveling around the world, which is a cool moment.
Know their stories.
So here we're seeing a bit of a different view. What exactly are we looking at?
We had this on previous Assassins where you would like ride on your horse and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
I think now it's finally time to go and head off to Oswald's wedding.
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, it's sort of like mentioned by Oswald that he's trying to get married with his Dane lady. And so as you go through the arc, that's sort of like the underlying thread. Really, it's about Rued creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony. And then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to play on in Valhalla, where being a Viking is not only about being a raider or warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if
Yay, party!
Viking. And so here, this is one of our opportunities to sort of show that.
What are we drinking?
A sort of Viking gathering is, and what's cool here is it's a good alliance of
beer,
Norse culture with Saxon culture, sort of smashing those two things together, and building bridges.
Yeah, I mean, what's a wedding without some drunk archery, right?
Go.
Yeah, so like anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here, just get drunk, shoot some arrows.
Barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all. My king.
Uh-oh.
So
Party crasher.
You see, the decision I made to spare Rued came back to bite us.
Yep, that's the decision you made, coming back. So as we said before, all of your decisions have consequences, and this is a big one.
I challenge you.
Me?
I accept.
Uh-huh.
You're basically presented with the option to sort of step in for Oswald, fight the fight for him, or let him go and fight his own fight.
Yeah, you know, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let me finish this.
Oswald, you gutless Arya swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
How does this encounter with Ruid differ from our previous fight with him?
So at this point, you've eliminated his wolf, so it's just him, and so he's angry at this point, and so he will start using his big gun abilities like fairly earlier on in the fight. So it's way more vicious, way faster. There's less strategy. He goes literally swords blazing at you, and so this is a fight to the death.
Yeah, if we gave him a chance the first time, no more chances.
And of course here, like, this is a decision you made to go and fight him, but there's multiple outcomes to this scenario. You could have let Oswald fight his own fight and prove basically his station as the rightful leader. If you had eliminated Rued, obviously this would not have happened. It would have been a slightly more joyous occasion. But ultimately, in all scenarios, you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory and to be a good ally for you.
A great service. I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together is sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on Longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet and bring him along for adventures.
Together.
I'll gather my things.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough. Fizz, thank you so much for joining us. When and where can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia on November 17th.
Thank you for watching. That was a nice intro. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a very interesting game. Looking at some of the games that are currently out, well, there's some games that have been out. The swordplay. Right now, I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, and you can tell the swordplay is just a little different because you're like face to face, and then this one is you kind of see the whole body engaged in combat. So that's kind of a different thing. I think that's more of kind of a Japanese thing, and you see this kind of swordplay in their video games. But I think it's cool. I think it'll be interesting. Like I said, when I did my showing the trailer before, I'm a Vikings fan. You know, I'm a American football Vikings fan, and being a Vikings fan, and you know, being in the military, I served as a Marine, and we're known as sea soldiers. So it kind of all fits in. I've been to Europe. I've been to England. I've been to Norway. I've been to Ireland. So I kind of know. I'm not an expert, but I kind of know the story of the Vikings because Vikings is people that I find intriguing and interesting. So I hope you guys, really enjoyed this intro that Ubisoft put together. I think it was pretty nice. Um, and the games that are going to be coming up, which I'm sure a lot of you are looking forward to, including myself. And I hope you enjoyed my little video here with some scenes from the current Ghost Recon Breakpoint. But I don't know when you're gonna see this. Obviously, a lot, like I said, a lot has already expired. A lot of playthrough gameplay you're already experiencing, and like I said, I didn't show all of the games that they showcased. Some of them might be are occurring right now. Some are going to be occurring later on in the year, and maybe even on into next year. So I hope you guys enjoy your gameplay. I know I sure will. And all that comes with it. Um, uh, no matter your platform, you have a new hardware that's coming out. Should be exciting game for gamers, developers, and the gaming family as a whole. So it's something, and also as YouTubers, we really like to play our games and really like to showcase our gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoy all of that. So without any more further blah blah blah, thanks guys. Thank you for watching my video, and thank you Ubisoft. It was a very good show. Thanks for the games that you're putting out. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves out there, and we will see you next time.